So today on the Dig podcast, I am speaking to Jackie Reid, who is one half of Deli Lites. The first Deli Lites store opened in Newry in County Down in 1994. Oh my goodness, it seems like such a long time, but what a journey Deli Lites has been on. I can't wait for you all to hear today. It's unbelievable. Jackie and her husband soon realised after opening that store that there was an opportunity to make amazing sandwiches for convenience stores, schools, universities, and so much more. So they bought a premises of their own and they founded Deli Lites Ireland Limited. Honestly, the story is phenomenal. They started making just 30 sandwiches a day, but the sales quickly grew and interest from even bigger companies started to flow in. This is what really excited me whenever I was doing the research. They secured deals with Debenhams Cafes, Costa Coffee, Apple Green, and the list just goes on. And I just thought that was unbelievable. They now employ over 300 people. Like, how do you go about managing 300 people? It's insane. And they have their own manufacturing facility and they supply every county in Ireland every day of the week, as well as exporting all over the world. I can't believe Jackie is actually on the podcast today to tell us all about this. I love the way that they've always stayed true to their original values and purpose. That's so important. It's always been important to me. So when I seen that Deli Lites have always stood by that, I just thought that was brilliant. And that purpose is to make fresh gourmet sandwiches and food to go products with a positive impact on the health and well-being of those who consume them. And I love this bit as well, on the growth and bottom line for those who sell them. So both go hand in hand for this company. And that is just, it's plain to be seen from everything that they do. This is an exciting new digital world we live in. And I want this podcast to help inspire you on your entrepreneurial journey. It's not easy juggling all the balls in the world of work. And I know that more than anyone. But I invite you to join thousands of our other listeners as we talk about all things money, marketing, hard times and successes. So get ready to be challenged and inspired. This is the Dig podcast. Yes, welcome Jackie. Thank you so much for being on the Dig podcast.
Thank you, Caroline, for having me. Very honoured.
Oh my God, no, I'm honoured to have you here. We're honoured. The listeners are honoured for you to be able to tell us all this knowledge and exciting journey your business has been on. So Jackie, was reading all about you guys over the past few weeks whenever I knew you were coming on the podcast. There's so much LinkedIn, especially seeing the journey business-wise you've been on. I've been able to gather so much, but there's nothing like hearing it straight from the horse's mouth. So tell us the crack. How did this start? Like 1994 seems like such a long time ago, but what happened?
I know and I can't even count back myself the years. I suppose how it all happened was I was the youngest of a family of 6 kids, and I had 4 older sisters and a brother. But my older sisters and have been very entrepreneurial, and they had went to New York, and I joined them for a couple of months. They were working in these delis in New York, and they could see the queues down the streets and the buzz and, the potential of doing something like this in Newry or the local area at that stage. They didn't know where they were going to open the first shop. So they came home anyway and came back with this harebrained idea that we're going to open a sandwich bar. So obviously my parents, being from a farming background, it was a bit like, oh, what's that all about? Because they wouldn't have been familiar with the whole demand of deli sandwiches, because there was nothing in Ireland to compare it to. So it would have been the first sandwich bar in Ireland really to open. So opened it in Newry in Mullen Street, and I was tagging along, with the wee sister, and I was grafting away with the girls and thought this was a bit of fun. But really that fun, it actually always was fun, but it became into a serious business because within a couple of months there was queues down the streets. People was travelling from all over to get these deli sandwiches because really, Caroline, it was point of difference. We were cooking our own chicken. We were, bringing in sauces and marinating and doing things differently. Nobody got anything like it. So it was really exciting. And I suppose I was in the middle of it. Being from that entrepreneurial family and with 4 sisters, working and seeing the success I really wanted a bit of that, but I wanted it for myself. I was a bit greedy. I was like, how am I going to do this? So really, I just came up with the idea to make sandwiches in the store overnight. And I met my husband now, Brian, in the shop. He was one of the best customers, so he must have been doing something right. And he decided to come into business with me and said, this is a great idea because people's going mad for these sandwiches. And, the phone was hopping every day. Can you deliver here? Can you deliver there? So we started out. He delivered the sandwiches out throughout, petrol forecourts, schools, factories around the Newry and Mourne area. I was making them during the night. He was helping me. I was selling during the day.
Is this, sorry for jumping in. So is this just through word of mouth? These people were reaching out to you because they'd heard the sandwiches were good, or were you marketing at that time to petrol stations? No?
Yeah. Listen, Caroline, I was 17, 18. I knew nothing about marketing. I left school. I was going to do my A-levels and I was doing media studies in the tech in Newry for a while, but I thought this isn't for me. I want a piece of the pie. I feel like there's a demand here and was certainly a niche in the market because there was nobody putting out really good sandwiches in petrol forecourts. They were terrible. And I says, we need to change this. But the demand was huge because people kept phoning into the shop saying, can you deliver here? Can you deliver there? And the girls were too busy. So I says, right, I'm going to do that. So I started my own business and delivered initially all throughout the Newry and Mourne area. Then it just grew and grew.
When you were 17 or 18, is this at this age that you started to do this?
Well, I worked in the shop and that's when I'd seen the initial idea. So I was working in the shop for about 2 years. So yeah, I was about 18, nearly 19 then we went out on our own and made sandwiches throughout the night. So it did because within the shop opening in 1894 and me meeting Brian, who is my husband now, we had decided to do that together because he was the same. He didn't want to further education. So we were both like looking at each other going, let's do this. We can, you no fear. At that age, you no fear. And really, I didn't have to worry too much about loans because I was getting my sister's shop throughout the night to make the sandwiches, but I was paying her a small rent when I afforded it. But it was a great help initially. And having the confidence to do that was fantastic because once you have a support of family members around you rooting for you, you really can do anything. But it was very enjoyable just getting in there and doing it.
This is unbelievable. So I'm going to tell you a story now. It's not made up. This is true, Bill. So I was obsessed whenever I used to work in the hospital before my retail career, and I was obsessed with bagels. And because I'd been to America years ago too, I went again with my husband to tell you about that. But and I saw bagels everywhere, and no one was doing bagels here. And when I decided to leave the hospital to open my actual retail store, my boss said to me, "I bet you're going to open a bagel bar." And I didn't realize they'd been talking about these bagels, and no one was doing them over here. Little did I know that down in Newry you were doing like that American deli style thing, but that then progressed to, I went 7 years ago to America, just like your sisters, with my husband, and we get up, we were jet lagged the next morning, we went down to Battery Park, and we went, I'll never forget it, Leo's Deli. Yeah. And we got the most unreal sandwich. And I am not joking you, Jackie, you're going to think she's...
Sticks in your mind.
Because she's interviewing me, but I was like, nobody makes sandwiches like this at home. So unreal. Like, I get how your passion started. I love food too, but I mean, it's just so interesting to listen to. And I hope that, I know we're at a time whenever younger people are maybe considering their career paths, like it's so refreshing to hear that your hubby hadn't any kind of, like further education as such, in inverted commas. So like, fair play, like it's an amazing story to start off like.
Yeah, no, it was great, and it still is. It's like, it's that raw passion, Caroline, having that and keeping it alive in you. Because as long as that's alive in you, you've so much more to get and so much more potential out there. Because I remember saying to Brian, I says, listen, we want to be supplying every county in Ireland. And I remember looking at me and going, are you crazy? It's only one man, me and a van. And I was going, yeah, but you never know. But within, suppose, 5 years, we were.
So that was
every county in Ireland.
That was my next question. Like at that early stage, what were your goals? So that's what you said to Brian, and within 5 years, you made that happen.
made that happen. We just, suppose we done what we done, and it was always keeping the formula of keeping the quality there. The sandwiches were amazing. The service, building your infrastructure, building your people along with you on that journey. And I brought some fantastic people on the journey with me. And believe it or not, some of them are still with me today. But it's those good people around you that you can make it happen. And obviously, we had to make some big decisions because we had to get our own unit. We had to get out of the shop, the sandwich bar in Uri. So we moved up to one point, not too far away, and we got our first unit. But we moved 3 times till the unit we're in today, which is, a huge facility where we're making sandwiches, like it's a 25,000 square foot facility. But like that journey from the sandwich bar to what where we are now is so interesting, so fantastic, and I loved every minute of it. Even so, it was blood, sweat, and tears, and we're pulling our hair out, and all these challenges. But I think whenever you have customers coming back looking more, it just keeps the passion alive.
Oh my God, absolutely. This is unbelievable. So I've written here about Cork and Belfast. How did that happen? What's happened along the way here?
Yeah, so really, you have to be careful what you wish for in business. So whenever I said to Brian, okay, we want to really be delivering to every county in Ireland. That was our ambition. That was our goal when we started out in business. So it's only into about 4 years, we got a phone call, and I was leaving the office one evening because at that stage your orders were coming through by fax. Can you believe it?
Oh my
Faxes
God.
were coming through in your orders. So I was one Friday evening, and I was waiting for a customer's order, and it didn't come through. And I said, right, that's it, I'm away. So I went down the stairs to go out the door, and I heard the phone ring. I was going, who is phoning me on a Friday evening? And I said, right, I better go up and take it. So I took the phone call, and it was a big international customer, more or less saying to me, seen your product, I bought your product, I love what you do. Can we have a meeting about potential supply? They were expanding into every county in Ireland. That was their plan over the next year and a half or whatever. And I was going, I can't believe this. So I was excited, and met them, and we were both very aligned. Do you know what I mean? And that's very important, that both the supplier and the customer are aligned with your passion, your values, and your ambition. So we were very aligned, and they opened their first store in Belfast, and that was great. It was a really good, successful store. And then within 2 months, the second store was in Cork. So that was a challenge.
Yeah.
So we had to then fill the gap between Belfast and Cork of making it viable to be able to go there every day, because that's what it required back then. You needed to service every day because, Caroline, we have a short shelf life product. There's only like 3 days on our fresh sandwiches and salads. You had to be there every day. So we set a plan in place and a strategy of building up an infrastructure and a plan so that we could supply every county in Ireland to make it a viable business. Because at that stage we weren't making a lot of money because the costs were too high. So we've done that over 2 years. We won more contracts. We just got more inquiries, and then it was word of mouth from dealing with other reputable customers and suppliers, and other customers came on board. And remember, there was no social media back then. There was no way.
What a world it must have been. So that just shows you, though, word of mouth is so powerful. To think the business just grew because of that. But I guess we are in a different world now. We'll talk about how that has affected things at the end. But yeah, amazing to think that huge growth, without really any of the forms of advertising we'd be used to now.
Yeah, there was none of that. It was all organic. And because I do believe we were always doing something different and better than our competitors, and it's always about pushing boundaries, taking a risk, and really believing in what you're doing. And we believed from every decision we made that it was the right decision. Okay, we did make, obviously, you're never perfect all the time. There was some wrong decisions, but we got back on track again. And I think it's about being resilient and keeping your goals in your sight.
And this is just me wondering as well. I'm thinking about my experience. I was always afraid of growth because I felt like I could never sustain that high quality that people expected when you grow so big sometimes you're afraid that's going to be lost. Especially with sandwiches, how do you ensure that your product remains as amazing as everyone knows it is?
Yeah. So that was a challenge, and I got a great piece of advice, and it was like, Jackie, get out of the kitchen. And I was going, well, I can't get out of the kitchen. You need to get out of the kitchen because you are too micromanaging everything. You need to get out. You need to sell more, because obviously I'm a big talker, Caroline. And I loved, I made the sandwiches at the very early days. And I had a passion for making really good food. And the quality always had to be as good as what I would eat myself. So I had this sort of control. I was like, oh, but who's going to do it as good as me? But I did. I got people as good as me. I trained them. And we brought in a quality team and a technical team who would do weight checks, who would do quality checks, would look at dates and ingredients coming in. So all of a sudden I realised, yeah, that can work. And that was probably one of the best pieces of advice I got, and that was from my accountant. And after that bit of advice, and I removed myself completely from the kitchen, our sales went up tenfold, because I was able to focus then all of a sudden on the sales. I had the food sorted. I had fantastic people in there. I had employed chefs at this time. I had a fantastic team of people who was as passionate as me and Brian, and they made sure everything back at house was perfect. So then I could relax and go and sell it. And to be fair, it was an easy sell.
Unreal. And I think that'll inspire a lot of people, because you can't really grow unless things change. And you coming out of the kitchen, absolutely, I'm sure it was very scary because you're letting go of your baby as such, but like you said that there, you train those people how to do it to your standards. I think that's so important to grow, isn't it? But it's a mindset you need to overcome. Just
absolutely, because you cannot grow a business if you do not surround yourself with the proper people, proper infrastructure, and you share your strategy. If you don't do that, forget about it. And that is so important, because even now, that was years ago, I got out of the kitchen, but I jumped into sales. So I was heading sales in the business, and I loved it. And I travelled the length and breadth of Ireland and the UK. Then I quickly realised I need to replace myself. I need a team that can do this, and to be taken as seriously as I am, and to come across as passionately and, I suppose, natural on what we represent and what service we're offering. So again, I go back out to the market, and I got some amazing people again with me a long time, and it's just really, I couldn't be happier, because they are doing everything that I possibly would imagine that we could do, and I'm not in there controlling it all. I have a team, and it's very important to surround yourself with a good, strong team.
Like, whenever I'm listening to you, like if I was listening to you and I didn't know what I know, I would say, right, she has a master's in business, she has a master's in communications, and she's a master's in media, and she's a master's. That woman's been to school all her life. Like, I mean, this is so good for people, because you are such an inspiration, because you seem like you're able to do all of these things without the traditional training that people would normally think of. So is that just learning as you go? Is that asking, like, how did you find out about how to get, all the right people on your team? Are you very open about what you don't know, and then you get to learn? How do you do that?
I think it's like, obviously Brian has been a fantastic. Once there's two people who is so focused and has a burning desire to achieve our goals, we're gonna, brainstorm and write down all the things that we needed to do to make this work. And that's what we done. We lived and breathed it. We didn't take a holiday. We worked 6-7 days a week for the first 5 to 6 years. We hardly took a wage. We were razor-like focused. And we wrote out a plan, and we ticked it off, and we built the company. We took risks, calculated risks, and we just, when you share that load with somebody, it's amazing. But I didn't need degrees, and I'm not saying that that's the way to go either, but I'm self-taught. But I think I'm very focused and willing to learn all the time. I learned from a lot of other people, my accountants, the solicitors, people around me, successful business people. I've read a lot of books. I admire an awful lot of people. I ask a lot of questions. I'm very, very nosy, very curious. How did you do that? Could I do that? What, and all those right questions at the right time, I think helps you on your journey. Like, my lad, I have a son and he's 16 and he's at that same crossroads as I was on. And he's either going to do his A levels or he's going to go another path. And he's decided to take the other path. And I'm so proud of him because I know he's got that same glint in his eye that I had as well. And I think really it's a lot about self-belief, but you do need to learn over the years. You need to listen, you need to ask questions, but now you also need to keep, listening to podcasts and do a bit of self-development. I do a bit of that now, but I'm still learning to this day.
Try and find a man or a woman like Brian or Jackie. Oh my God, he sounds amazing. Someday I hope to get to speak to him as well. But
absolutely, yeah. He's sorry he couldn't join us.
Yeah, no. So I know we haven't written it down in our notes, but what books, can you recommend any good books? Because I do show notes, Jackie, so I can put in things for people to like resources. Is there any good book, even one good book that you've read that you could recommend to us?
Yeah, well, obviously The Secret, read it by Rhonda Byrne. That was early on, and that gave me a lot of self-belief. And it was all about, what you put out, you get back, and how you treat your people. Because I knew nothing about staff and human resources. Didn't know how to work with people. Every person I came into contact was like my friend, So it was about very early on about, building your people and respecting them and listening to them. And what you give, you get back. So I learned a lot from that book, and I've even given it to my kids now because I say, go read that. You're going to get something out of it. And even one wee thing can help. But I found it very, very beneficial. And there's lots of other, books on business, and Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Business. I've read that. There's different things, but I think the Secret book definitely helped me at the best time of my life.
Okay, I'm going to put those into the show notes for anybody listening so they can go check those out.
Yeah.
Tell us about, I've written here your e-commerce site, but I can't just jump to that without saying the landscape has changed so much now. So how has that journey evolved for you to now having an e-commerce site and all that's going on with the digital world?
Yeah.
How has that journey been and what's happened?
Yeah, that's a good question because that just happened. We had discussed an e-commerce site because a lot of people wanted to buy products directly from us, and we were so used to selling them to customers to sell on, and we thought about it and we went, well, maybe there's a business in this. But really, how it came to light was when COVID hit. What's that now, 18 months ago or more, and that really fast-tracked that. So we said, right, we're doing it now. Because overnight, Caroline, our business and our customers went. So, we went from nearly 300 staff down to 30, who was just keeping the place clean and, making sure that all the ingredients was being rotated and that we're selling out stock and giving stock to homeless people and all just at that very early stages of COVID. But then myself and Brian and the management team, I suppose you could say a crisis team at the time, got together and said, we need to fast track it. So we quickly got the e-commerce site up and going within, I think, 10 days. And this is where social media really came good for us. We put it out on LinkedIn and Facebook and obviously Instagram and all the different ways. And all of a sudden people was ordering from us. They were ordering, boxes of sandwiches and paninis. And we've obviously a bakery as well, brownies. And I have another business, Kitchen Vigilantes, which is a vegan business, all plant-based food meals. So we done a lot of different styles of food and we supplied it to people's door. So we had, again, from every county in Ireland, there was people putting through orders for us to deliver on the next day basis. And that really helped us because that kept all our staff focused. It kept, the morale up. Everybody was happy because they thought, right, we've this now and there's a demand. Amazing customers sent us lovely messages and it really, really helped us and it kept us busy in those really dark days. And it's still very popular to this day. So it's something I could see going from strength to strength.
The Dig podcast is all about educating my listeners, but it's so important to me that it is also a place to gain exposure. Each week we open up the podcast to brands and business owners to pitch to you guys. I can't wait for you to hear from this week's business.
Hi everyone, my name is Noreen McPeak and I work in sales and marketing for NCC Limited. I would like to take this opportunity to tell you a bit more about the business. Northern Counties Cooperative Enterprises, or NCCE, often gets referred to locally as the Co-op. The business was established in 1963 with the main aim being to provide services to the local community. That is still the main business ethos for today, to become a premier provider of farming services. On our site based in Swatra, we have a livestock market with sales in cattle and sheep running weekly. We have brand new training facilities and run a variety of agri and construction based courses. Ulster Ceramics is also part of NCC and they are a wholesale ceramics business supplying the whole of the UK. We also have our country store which is a focal point of the business. NCC Country Store was initially stocking all agricultural and hardware supplies. However, in 2019 we decided to modernise and renovate the store, extending it to 3 times its original size. We wanted to extend our customer base and introduce more female-friendly ranges. We now stock a variety of kids' clothing and toys, with top brands such as Lighthouse and Frugi. As agriculture is at the core of our business, we always try to stock original items with an animal or country theme, perfect for all the mini farmers out there. We also stock a range of ladies' clothes, workwear and a small selection of homeware, including the popular brands Ulster Weavers and Sass and Bell. We are also official stockists of the popular French chic furniture paint. So if you are in the area, please call in and we would be happy to welcome you in store. Or if you are a bit further afield, you can always shop online at nccecountrystore.org.uk. Please follow us on social media for updates and more information. On Facebook at NCC Country Store Swatra or Instagram also at NCC Country Store Swatra. We look forward to welcoming you in store and thank you for taking the time out to listen.
Wow, that's amazing because I did go on to see and I've seen the different offerings that are available and my mouth was watering and I was like, oh my God, this is definitely the way to go because as you say, getting that kind of luxury sandwich isn't easy, even getting it like delivered to you. It's so amazing that you've done that. But again, a credit to you because you've like, I've been in that situation of depth of despair in the dark days and I couldn't see a way forward, but you guys were able to turn it around and, you know, see what your customer needed. And I just think that is just unbelievable. And like, you bring your family along, like you're a mummy and Brian's a daddy. So tell us, like, how many children do you have and how do they get involved in the business? Because I love to hear this because I have a feeling our children are going to have to get involved in the things that, well, mine do get involved in the things that I do, but how do you bring yours along on the journey?
Yeah, well, I have 3 kids, Caroline, 2 boys and a girl. My eldest is 16 and my daughter is 13 and I have a son of 12. So, you know, they've been brought up with knowing nothing else but Deli Lites. And, you know, in the early days it was very, very challenging because I had 3 kids under 4 and I was, sometimes I had them in the back of the car, travelling to maybe Cork or Derry or wherever I needed to be with customers. So that was tough going. So they know nothing else, but they do love it. And I think they're proud of us and what we've done. And it's very important to keep them involved and, you know, telling them what we're doing. What we try not to do is discuss any sort of negative, not that there's any negative things happening in the business, but any problems or any wee things that maybe happen throughout the day that wouldn't have a positive impact on them. We don't talk at home. We talk about the positives in business and what we've done and where we're going, and we're sharing our journey and our goals with them. So they're very excited about it. And my daughter, Brooke, she's 13 and she's like semi-vegan because I'm a vegan this 2 years. And how that happened was I was a vegetarian and then we launched a plant-based range of meals and energy bites and desserts called Kitchen Vigilantes. It's a sister company. And I was really doing it for research. And my daughter said she wanted to do it with me as well. So she just loves food and she comes on to the taste panels at work We would have taste panels every month. She comes on, she's the youngest member of the panel, and she scores the products, and she is brutally honest. And she normally, most of the time, she's actually very right. She might say, no, mommy, that taste is too strong, or that's too spicy, or it needs a tweak. But because obviously our product range is quite diverse, Caroline, we have a big following of, the younger generation buying our tray bakes. We have a lot of really exciting tray bakes like salted caramel brownies and rocky roads and biscoff slices. And my daughter and my son actually said, Mommy, you have to do a Kinder Bueno, and you have to do, the Kinder Slice. It would be so popular. Kids would love it. All the young ones would love it. And we launched it. And I mean, it's our busiest tray bake now. We're selling it all throughout the country, and I would have to say it's down to them. So, your kids are very important to keep them involved, and for them to see the success of that, who knows, they might want to take it over someday, but
absolutely.
I let them go and do their own thing first.
They're the heirs to the throne, of course. Oh my God, that's amazing. Like, your daughter's just like you. I can just sense that already whenever you're telling me all of that. But yeah, I know that's when you have 3 kids and you're trying to build your empire like you are doing, it's definitely not easy, and they're in the back of the car. You've said that. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening. Sometimes, Jackie, I would have felt guilty about that, but I had to have a good talk to myself. I don't know how you would have dealt with those challenges, but I'm doing this for them. So I have to make them aware of, why we're doing it. Like just what you've said, you always bring them along, and it eases the guilt a bit, doesn't it? Like that mum kind of guilt.
Absolutely.
And dad guilt as well.
It is, and it's hard because both of us is in the business, but we've very different roles. Obviously, Brian is he's the CEO, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer. So I look at the strategy of the business and that direction and the food and the markets, where he's looking at more, he's an overview of the whole business, the operational and obviously the profit and the financial part of the business. So it's very important to communicate that to the kids and what we do, and to explain to them why we're doing it. Because they turn around and would say, "Oh, can I have a new pair of football boots, or can I have this, and can I have that?" And I says, "Well, yes, you can if you need them, but and I'm able to afford these because I'm working." And sometimes maybe where they're saying, "Oh, you're away again," or "Why are you traveling?" and you have to remind them and bring them back. Well, I'm doing this because this is for you guys, to give you the football boots and to give you the things you want in your life. So just to bring them on the journey and make them understand that it doesn't come easy. There is sacrifices, and whereas they might look and go, "Oh, the business mum and dad's doing well," or whatever, they have to see that it takes a lot of commitment and sacrifice, but you will do well if you put that effort into it.
Unreal, absolutely. And what about, I know there's going to be people listening from all different backgrounds here, business people who just haven't started a business yet and are looking inspiration, and all of the reasons why people listen to the podcast. But if there's someone listening and they have an idea just like you had, but they're afraid to take that step or that leap, have you any words of advice for people like that?
Yeah, I think fear only comes in if you're not confident. And I mean that in the sense of if you're not confident in your idea. Fear is there to challenge you. So if you're confident in your idea, I was so confident in our sandwiches that whenever I made them, put them into a pre-pack and supplied them to Pepper forecourts, that they would hop off the shelf because they were amazing. I was so confident I wasn't going to fail. So it sort of suppressed the fear. So I think it's important that your idea, you're confident in it, and to be confident, you have to research your market and know that nobody's doing something very similar to you, and that you're just going to go in there and do the same. You have to find a wee niche. You have to be able to do it better. You have to make it, make the lives of your customers easier. So once you do all those wee things and you come out and you go, "Yeah, I'm 100%, this product's good," go for it. Don't let fear hold you back, because, you can, even if you fail, even if you do, you learn from that, and then you go back again. Luckily, we didn't. We were successful, but we had a lot of challenges. But it's all about channeling the fear and those challenges and turning it into a positive. But, I think anybody can do it if you're confident in your product.
Unbelievable. Oh my God, they're definitely going to be starting after listening to this, because it's just, it gives you fire in your belly. It really does.
Yeah, well, it does. And the thing is, and I said it very openly, come speak to me if you have an idea or you want advice, because that's the only thing that maybe it wasn't as easy to get advice. I would go looking for Caroline whenever I was 19, 18, 19. You know, nobody was forthcoming. You know, everybody was sort of back then, like everybody was in their business and there were tunnel vision and they nearly didn't come up for air. And, you know, I think it's good now that people share their stories and are open about, you know, helping other businesses. And I'm just, you know, I think it's fantastic for people to take the leap and go for it. So if I can help or people have any questions, just reach out.
It's unreal. That's so good of you to say that. And no doubt you're going to be flipping inundated. But I did read where you have just won another Great Taste Award for your vegan bento box. So tell us, what is a vegan bento box, and how did you make it the best? Tell us.
Yeah, it's a really good. I'll have to send you one now down to.
Oh, do I would love
where
that.
You work, yeah, and some brownies for dessert. So yeah, it's part of our range we launched 2 years ago. It's our plant-based range under the Kitchen Vigilantes brand. And the vegan bento box is, you know, it's onion bhajis and it's mango chutney and it's toasted almonds. And it's on a bed of quinoa and rice, and it's got a lovely plant-based dressing. Oh my God, to tantalize the taste buds. I think that wouldn't do it justice. You would have to taste it. It's amazing. And it's just a taste explosion. And again, our food, it always has to be memorable. It always has to be tasty. So again, we were thinking, how do you make plant-based food a wee bit more different than just like you know what I mean, a vegetable pasta or a vegetable curry. Like, to me, that's boring.
Yes.
You know, you have to just push the boundaries. So with the influence of all the different cultures and the food and people traveling, we just decided to do something really different. So we were absolutely delighted to win that award. We were only told yesterday. So it's a testament again of our amazing quality and technical team and our team of chefs. They're constantly working and innovating and traveling to bring back the most amazing flavours. So hats off to them. That was their idea, not mine this time. But no, we have a great team there, and it's just amazing. I'm so delighted to have them.
Can't wait to taste it. Oh my God, it sounds, you'd know you love food the way you describe things. My mouth is water and I'm like, oh my God, it sounds unreal.
Well, it is plant-based. It might be the same if it was something beef or whatever, you know.
Oh, look, I think, like you said, cultures have changed. People's mindsets have changed about food so much, especially since, like, you know, COVID hit and all. People have had time to sit and figure out what's going on in the world of food, especially. And I know I would try to do a few days here where we don't eat meat and things, not for any other reason other than to open our minds to other options. So I think you like obviously could see that trend as well, and that's unreal that now you've got such an amazing product that's actually winning awards. So I think people are going to be seeing that out and about more now and be looking out for your vegan bento box. Is that the name of it?
Yes, definitely. Coming to store soon.
I know. So I've got all my wee notes here. Not that me and you could talk. That's why I had to have notes, because I know we'd flip and veer off on all the different topics. But what advice we've talked about the entrepreneur that has the idea. But what advice would you give to business owners who are struggling to deal with growth in their business, like growing your team, spending money, delegation, all the things? Like, I know we touched on it a bit, like the get out of the kitchen is definitely part of this topic that we're talking about now. But any other advice to business owners who are struggling to deal with that growth mindset and growth in their business?
I think for growth, you need a good management team. You need people there with skills that's able to influence the business in the right direction. But also, outside influence from Invest in I, they're a great support, you know, and just being part of other networking groups as well. Like, I'm involved in Women in Business and Evolve networking, just talking to other entrepreneurs about how they've grown their business is fantastic. And the more people you can talk to about their experiences, you learn from them, and you never know who they can put you in contact with as well. So it's about being open and, tell your team your journey and your goals. And, you know, as they say, so many minds is better than one.
And whenever I'm out and about with businesses, Jackie, I speak to so many with all the dreams and ambitions that you had, but they don't seem to realize that you can't get those just as a solo person. Like, if you want to grow, you have to be prepared to grow your team. So like you said, like, I speak to people and they've just launched their website as well, say, for example, as well as their bricks and mortar. And I'm like, but that's a second business. You can't continue to go the way you've been going, have another business and not actually grow your team as well. So I guess it's knowing, and as you said, talking to people like women in business, they're brilliant, get involved in all them, and just say, here, how did you do that? Or what do I do next? Sometimes it can just take somebody to tell you how to move forward.
Yeah. It's so important to speak to people, and because you could get something from somebody you didn't even realise, from just having a general chat. So you have to share your story and your ambitions.
Yeah, definitely. And tell us, I don't even know, I'm afraid to ask, what is your ambitions for Deli Lites? Is there further other things that you are going to do? Are we going global?
Yes.
What is, I can just imagine, I can't wait to hear. Tell us.
Yeah, well, it's been a roller coaster of a year, as you can imagine, Caroline, but we've stuck to our goals, and, obviously, we're very successful in Ireland and the UK, and it's very important to keep grounded, to keep our customers happy, and that's so important to me, because my customers here in Ireland have been amazing, and the support throughout COVID, and even with supply chain issues with Brexit and all that, it's been phenomenal. A real true partnership. Some of the customers we've had from day one are still with us, and that's very important. But now, as Deli Lites is growing up further, we do have plans to go global. We supply currently, the UK market and 9 countries as well in Europe. We just won a contract out in Dubai there in the last month. So there is exciting things happening, yeah. And it's amazing, because normally I would have been flying out all over the place. I would have been out to Dubai, I would have been to Norway, or, to Denmark, but I can't go there. Everything is now done virtually.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm a very much person to person, and I do love meeting people. As I told you earlier in our chat, I love jumping in a car and meeting customers. There's nothing better than a good handshake and a cup of tea together and having a good honest chat.
You know what? All of that you're saying is in your eyes. I'm on a virtual with you now, and I might as well be sitting right beside you. That is in your eyes. I can see that. So you look at all the extra work you're getting to do, because you don't have to jump on a plane. But I get what you're saying. But honestly, it works for you, I would say, because you're such a vibrant, passionate person, even the way you're speaking now. But oh my God, absolutely. Would love to be going to Dubai, flying off on a plane.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm due it in the next couple of months. But yeah, that's exciting. That's our plan and our our journey over the last couple of months. And doing it virtually was very, very different for me, because, speaking into a laptop screen, it was so surreal for me to get used to that, especially being a very personable person that loved, feeling people's energy and their vibe, and just having a chat to somebody in the same room. But it works. I've proven it works virtually, because we've won a lot of business and we're growing still. But I still am really looking forward to flying to London in the morning. We're exhibiting at the lunch show in London. So we take a stand there every year. So that's fantastic.
Oh my God, I would love something like that. That is unreal. So is that like all the people in your industry all pitching to customers about their products? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a big food show, casual dining and food to go show. So yeah, it's based in Excel in London, and it's been really, really good for us every year. We've got such amazing business out of it. But
Jackie, you need to start blogging so we can see all these things whenever you go away.
Well, you never know. I might have time to do that. I will.
You do. I'll definitely be tuning in. What else were you going to add there?
So yeah, we're doing an innovation challenge. We've won it for the last couple of years in lunch in London with different products that we've launched at the show. So last year was our it was macchiato overnight oats, and they won the innovation challenge, and a donut kebab as well. But this year we're launching a new range of hot eats, It's called Planet Cafe range. That's our new brand. So it's another sub-brand of Deli Lites. So these products are going to be like delivered all around the world, really, transferred in frozen storage, supplied to coffee shops, petrol forecourts, hotel chains, food service. So we're launching them tomorrow at the show, and there's a product, it's our non-beef burrito that we're launching. So we're excited about the innovation challenge, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll come back with gold, you know.
Oh my God, it's so exciting. I think it's because it's food and business combined. It's just, how could you not be excited? It's unbelievable. Jackie, I don't know. I feel like I could just love talking to you. I think you're just such an inspiration, and I know people are just going to love this, but they're going to want to connect with you. So how do people find out more, follow the journey on social, especially websites? Can you tell us just where people can connect?
Yeah, no problem. Well, obviously, there's a lot of information on Deli Lites on our website, but link in with us. We've the company page, Deli Lites Ireland, my own LinkedIn page as well. You know, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You know, very welcome. You know, follow us, like us. You know, any questions? You know, we're open and available. Like, it is a very busy time for me and Brian, but whenever anybody needs any advice, we call, we stop, and we try to help people. We're on this entrepreneurial journey of Ernst & Young 2021 coming up now in November. So it's exciting times, and being a finalist in the international category is amazing. Like, you know, I thought, like, you know, that's something for other companies. So we're excited. Really excited.
What is that? So that we can, how can I find it? Give me a link, or what is that?
Yeah, so that's Ernst & Young. It's EOY Entrepreneur of the Year. So they run these awards every year. So it's all the business out of Ireland. There's different sectors, Caroline, and we're in the international sector. So there's like 6 other companies from Ireland who's finalists. So it's a really amazing, you know, we're so humbled to be, you know, shortlisted for it, because it's very hard to get into it. And we're just amazed by the connections we've made, the like-minded entrepreneurs and people that are so friendly, and their journeys and so helpful. We're learning so much from the whole process, because there's lots of different networking events. A lot of them's done virtually, but we're going down to Kerry now in a couple of weeks for a retreat. It's a retreat for the week with all the other finalists. So it's exciting just to learn a bit more about their businesses, and who knows what, maybe there's synergies and we can work together. We're not expecting to win, but you never know. We have a good business.
Yeah, they have a good chance.
Well, that's it. I think, like, you know, there's a lot more that we have to do over the next few years, and this is only really the start of our journey. And I'm excited really about the next 5 years, you know, of where God knows where you'll be speaking to me, Caroline. Hopefully it won't be virtually.
I know I will be tuning in. You will be sitting on a lounger with a cocktail in Dubai. I know it. You're going to be living over there and saying, did I meet you one time virtually, Caroline? You're not even going to remember me.
Well, I'll always remember you, Caroline, especially if you want to meet me for a cocktail now. That might even be better.
I know, absolutely. Look, Jackie, thank you so much. Oh my God, I can't believe you're so busy and you took the time out to tell us all of that, but we'll all be following your journey. We're rooting for you for that award. Definitely deserve it based on all of that. And I've got food show at the weekend. Start blogging so we can start to see all of this online. It's amazing. Thank you so much, and stay in touch.
Thank you very much, Caroline. It was an honour, and sure, I'll be in touch.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another week of the Dig podcast. If you missed anything, we've made some show notes for you with all the links and all the good stuff we've talked about today. Remember, if you do listen to an episode, screenshot it and share it on social. Remember to tag me so that I see it and I can reshare on my platform. I love to see everyone tuning in each week. It has been an honour to be your host. I look forward to our next episode.